The second type of perspective drawing that we were working with today is what we call a two-point perspective drawing. So in this, I have 2 points that are located here on the horizon line. So I'm going to call that one vanishing point 1, and this will become vanishing point 2. Now, with a two-point perspective drawing, you are presupposing that instead of this cube having one of its faces exactly parallel to the picture plane, you have an edge that's closer to you. So what I'm going to do, because again, I'm just experimenting with space here and experimenting with this basic process, I'm simply going to draw a vertical line that is perpendicular to the horizon line. I've established the height of this as being the same height as this cube over here, just for comparative purposes. And what I'm going to do here is that I have one vanishing point on this side, one vanishing point on the other side. And the idea here is, as with the one-point perspective, lines that are parallel share a common vanishing point on the horizon line. Move those down here a little bit. So I've drawn one plane that goes back to the left to the vanishing point 1, one plane that goes back to the left to vanishing point 2. And again, because I'm creating my own space here, not actually drawing something that I'm looking at, I'm just going to arbitrarily decide where the back of this box is going to be and draw a vertical line that again is perpendicular to the horizon line but parallel to this front edge line that I've already drawn, and say that that's where that box ends on this side. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing for this box. So at this point, I have established for this particular box those lines. Now, for the next part of this, I have to figure out where the lines are that are going to describe the back edge that's over here and the back edge that's over here. Now, because I'm assuming, again, a perfect world that I'm working with here, this edge and this edge are parallel to each other. So is the edge that's going to go along the back here. In linear perspective, parallel lines share a common vanishing point, which means that to get the angle of this back edge over here, I'm going to draw a line that begins at this corner that goes back to this vanishing point. To get the angle of this line back here, I'm going to draw from this corner back to vanishing point 2. Where those meet is the back corner, and there I have a box drawn in two-point perspective with both planes receding away and an edge close to me. And as with the other one, I'm going to come through here and erase the orthogonals. Now, as I said right at the beginning, the horizon line, as it's laid out here, is indicative of what we call eye level. That is, how high are your eyes away from the ground to the floor where you're standing. So what that indicates is that these two boxes here, one drawn in one-point perspective, one that's drawn in two-point perspective, are completely below the level of my eye. That's why I see the top and two sides on both of these. Now, if I have a box that intersects the vanishing point, I'm going to get a different result when I draw these out to that intersects the horizon line. I'm going to have different results when I draw the corners out to the vanishing points. So I'm going to draw a line on this that continues upwards roughly from that one. And with this segment, I'm going to draw the end of the segment, draw my orthogonals out to the vanishing points on both sides. And again, just to keep it consistent with the box that I've drawn below, I'm going to draw my verticals. Again, lines that are perpendicular to the horizon line, directly above it. So when I have a box or a cube that sits directly on the horizon line or bisects the horizon line, I will not be able to see either the bottom of the box, nor will I be able to see the top of the box. And so what I have here on the page right now is what that would look like in the final drawing. Now if I continue on up and start looking at, and again continuing up with that particular vertical, let's go to drawing a box that's entirely above the horizon line. Now the process that I'm working with here can be done very, very, very accurately, utilizing a straight edge, a ruler, even pull a compass into this at one point. But as with this first box below, establishing the boundaries and the angles of these two planes and the sizes of those two planes is pretty straightforward. Now the trick comes when I try and figure out the line that's going to describe the back edge of this box. This line here in the back has to be smaller than this one because it's further away from me. So as I've done in the past, this line are parallel to each other, so they share a common vanishing point over here. The line that's going to come off the back of this box and describe that is also going to be a line that's parallel with those two, so it'll share a common vanishing point off to the side. Likewise, the line here that's going to describe the back is parallel to those two lines, and so we'll share the common vanishing point of vanishing point number 1. So to get the angle of the back, I draw a line directly to that. And there I have my next box that's also drawn in 2-point perspective, sharing the same vanishing points, and illustrating here a box that's entirely below my horizon line or my eye level, a box that intersects my horizon line or eye level, and a box that's entirely above my eye level. So for the first part of the assignment today, the first drawing that we did in class, I had students draw a horizon line on a piece of paper, establish 2 vanishing points, and from there attempt to fill up the entire paper with a series of boxes that are drawn both in 2-point perspective and some that are drawn in 1-point perspective. So what I would recommend doing on this to give yourself enough room on the paper, draw vanishing points that are out towards the edges of the paper that will give you a large area in between them in which to draw boxes that, again, show 2-point perspective like what you see in this group right here, and show 1-point perspective as you see here. And just as a reiteration of 1-point perspective, I'll do a very quick one utilizing this vanishing point over here. This time, however, I'm going to draw a 1-point perspective box. It's above my eye level, and that's to the right of the vanishing point. With 1-point perspective, all of the orthogonals share a common vanishing point. This line is parallel to this, and it's perpendicular to the horizon line. The back edge is parallel to this and parallel to the horizon line. So from here, you should be able to fill a standard 18 by 24 inch sheet of paper with anywhere from about 40 to 70 boxes depending on the size that you draw them. So the first assignment from today is to draw as many of these as you possibly can on this paper. And the point of this exercise isn't to recreate what you're actually looking at, but rather to familiarize yourself with the basic principles of linear perspective utilizing a 1-point perspective and a 2-point perspective.